This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Rupert Vercoe, the CEO of Cobra Resources, following an update on the lab testing of the ISR for the rare earth elements processing from the Bowland ore. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Rupert, how are you?
Very well, Mark. Thanks for taking the time to speak to me.
Always good to be catching up. Just first of all, before we get into the news today, you're in Tokyo, Japan. I wonder if you can tell us what you're doing there.
Yes, I arrived today. I'm over to attend the REIA Global Rare Earths Conference. So great opportunity for us to speak to the wider rare earth community and in particular more upstream companies and potential off-takers. So great opportunity for us to sort of look at the market and interact and tell them what we're trying to achieve and how we're going about it.
Okay, so do you have certain objectives you want to achieve? Are you presenting, or is it more about just widening that network, making some connections?
No, not presenting, but have a number of meets while we're over here, which is fantastic.
Okay, good. Well, maybe you can feed back to us when that's done. I know you're only there for a couple of days, but it'd be nice to know how that went and some of the conversations you had, and more importantly, the feeling for rare earths, the elements in going into the future, get a sense of what the industry is looking like. But if we talk about the news today, now as I understand, talking last time about what's been going on, you've been trying to mimic the same ionic recoveries under the ISR conditions from the standard wash process for ionic clays, which are, can be sort of challenging to work with. And you've said that the high-grade sample under recovery testing is significant, enriched in heavy and magnet rare earths and present within permeable geology. And if you can emulate initial recoveries achieved at pH 3 under ISR and from a single sample with such a significant grade, this will be globally significant. So, I mean, they're quite strong words. I mean, it's sounding initially, I know there's more to go on this testing, but it's looking like a pretty resounding success so far.
Yeah, look, it's certainly all very encouraging at present. Look, we initially theorised that we had high grades in very concentrated zones that were permeable and amendable to ISR. The test work today is demonstrating that. The head grade of this sample of core is certainly verifying that grade concentration. And I suppose the pore volume exchange rate that we discuss is a unit of measurement of the permeability of the material. So what we need to do through this test work, Mark, is we need to push out all the fluid that is in the core already because it's in a saturated aquifer. And we do that under a pressure that's reflective of what the aquifer is. And then it starts to be dosed and treated with the acid. Sure. And so what we do over this period is we measure and monitor what that rate of permeation is and what the rate of acid usage is, which is a key driver of cost, and then what your recoveries are and what they're achieved over time. So things are progressing well and certainly looking very encouraging for us to have this work completed in the coming weeks.
Okay, good. And I think from last time we spoke, really what this produces is a rare earth solution, and then you can sort of use that to test different pathways for producing a mixed rare earth element carbonate, which is what you'll end up selling. And you were working with Water Cycle in the UK. So, I mean, in terms of the process, what's left to sort of do here? I think you were talking about further testing and analysis, but it's expected quite soon, within a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. So what we did, Mark, is with this is like an initial test to really validate the process of ISR.
Okay.
The next step will be, one, to optimize the process, but also to scale it. So we'll probably look to do a larger test to produce more pregnant liquor solution to be able to advance those flow sheet studies to be able to produce what is a mixed rare earth carbonate, and that's a saleable product.
Okay.
And I think what we're very keen to be able to do and provide to WaterCycle is a sufficient sample for them to test a number of opportunities that we see that they may be able to increase the payability of that end product. So lots of exciting work ahead of us in that work stream.
Okay, so you're testing two things here. Of course, the ISR process, which is an ongoing process that you're working on, but also the recovery of the grade as well.
Absolutely. So the recovery of the grade. So in our initial cider test work, in zone 3, which is the high grade enriched zone that's currently under test, we achieved some phenomenal recoveries, up to 79% terbium and overall high recoveries of heavy rare earths, 65%. So what we really want to see is we want to be able to try and emulate those recoveries under the ISR process.
Sure. We're
obviously doing the same cider test work to be able to compare the ISR process against. And look, that work is progressing very well, and we hope to have results to the market in the coming weeks.
Okay. So will you be then, you're working with two organisations, the company who are doing the ISR lab bench testing, and then WaterCycle, are they two separate entities that you're working with?
They are. So look, ANSTO is the organisation that is doing the test work. They're based in Australia. They're very well regarded for both rare earths and ISR mining of uranium. And therefore, the technical expertise in applying the recovery process is being executed and tested by them. And then we have the flow sheet process, so taking the rare earths out of solution to produce a saleable product. We'll look to test a number of opportunities, and one of them is the technology that has been developed by WaterCycle.
Okay, good. So you're expecting those lab tests to complete the end of June, and then it'll be going down the flow sheet exploration route, will it?
Certainly an important component, Mark, particularly when we want to demonstrate what our opportunity is, and going down that process, being able to assess acid consumption, reagent use, what your main cost drivers are in this process will really help us highlight what our opportunity is. Okay. And our opportunity is to be a really low-cost producer of rare earths, which is important, particularly in the current market where rare earth prices are fairly suppressed.
Yes, indeed. And just thinking of something else that was in the RNS here, you say that the rates of permeability is comparable to the ISR that's being seen in uranium mines, and ISR is very commonly used in extraction of uranium ore. So this is again showing early positive signs, because it's sort of an uncharted territory, isn't it? ISR recovery for rare earths.
Yes, the process that we're looking at applying is called controlled aquifer in situ recovery. So that's using the geology and controlling the direction of your lixiviants. There are other processes used in China that rely on gravity that are less controlled and probably have a higher environmental risk. However, what we're doing in a controlled environment is certainly groundbreaking from a perspective where we hope to improve the environmental outcomes and also materially reduce the recovery cost of ionic rare earths. So from that point, it's very exciting, Mark.
Yeah, good. And in terms of then getting active on the ground, I know the last time that we spoke, you'd done those re-assays confirming the mineralization and demonstrating scale over that 33 square kilometers. And I think you mentioned that you'd be looking maybe into July for getting started on a drilling program, but it was dependent. You were waiting for all these leach tests to be completed.
Yeah, look, we really want to assess what these results are before we do that drilling, particularly because we'll be following up with some further met test work. But we certainly intend to start advancing towards that resource drill out, and that's the next step. So we're all prepared, ready to go on the ground, just very eagerly awaiting and looking forward to bringing these met results to the market in the near future.
Okay, and that's the next piece to come, is it? The final metallurgical test work?
Look, we still have some reanalysis results outstanding, and they're testing another part of greater land tenure where we've actually tested holes over a known uranium occurrence, and we want to validate those historic uranium grades and test our theories around where these ionic rare earths occur in proximity to the roll front. So we believe that whilst they're sourced from the same rocks, the chemistry drivers are different in this paleochannel system, and we hope to see accumulations of those rare earths in front of the uranium. So that's important from that standpoint, and it will really help us demonstrate what significant scale potential we have with our Boland rare earth occurrence.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time and that update today, Rupert Verka, the CEO of Cobra Resources.
Thanks, Mark. Much appreciated.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.